Hello, today we'll start with page 119. There are signs for you to look at. I think I sent everybody the page for those of you who didn't take the book home. We're going to be exploring each sign and talking about what they mean. I want you to give me explanations. I don't necessarily want you to give me translations into Norwegian, but I want you to give me explanations. I want to start with the very first sign, which is on the top. If you're looking at it, it's on your top left. It's a yellow sign, and I want you to talk about it. First, I want you to just give me simple sentences explaining each and every line on that sign. The very first line on it says, must be worn. Hard hat, safety boots, safety vest, safety glasses. I want you to think about where do you think this sign is placed? It's placed on a fence, but what is this fence guarding? It's guarding something, it's protecting something. Could be a building site. It could also be an area with some sort of electricity devices, or anywhere where people are doing work that could be dangerous for anyone to come in without the safety precautions. We already did a whole Quizlet study set on safety. I think we did two separate ones. One that's a general one for everybody, and a different one that was specific for the students who are taking construction, carpentry, and the ones who are going to be electricians. But even that, which is not associated with your area of expertise, which is health and education for children, and a couple of you I think are involved in the sports segment. Even though it's not exactly associated with that, I feel like it's still interesting for you to know. The more vocabulary you have, the better. So your job today will be to explain each and every sign. And like I said, I don't want you to necessarily use the words for it in Norwegian, but I want you to give me an explanation. So here is an example of what I'm looking for. The first one, a hard hat. A hard hat must be worn so that people can protect their heads. They need to protect their heads from objects that might fall on a building site or a construction site. Therefore, they must wear hard hats. So here you can use a sentence in the passive voice. What does that mean? Let me give you some examples. You can use it in passive voice or in active voice. I'm going to give you some examples. Let me just take a picture of the screen, or better yet, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch this like that, and substitute for this for a second. I'll look it up for you. Take notes as often as you can so that you can have something to refer to. You're often allowed to use some of your notes when you take tests. Even for the exam, you're allowed to use some of your notes. So the better notes you take, the better chances you have when you take a test. So I'm opening a Word document so I can write some sentences for you. It's not going to be a lot, but I feel it's appropriate for us to talk about passive voice versus active voice. And I think you will understand if you compare it to Norwegian, because you also have that in Norwegian. This is not an exclusive trait of the English language. Let me adjust the screen. Here we go. Here's the sentence. A hard hat must be worn. So here when I say that, I don't specify who is doing something, but I'm saying something must be done. It's a more vague way to describe something that's happening. Whereas when I say workers must wear hard hats. So in the second sentence, when I say who must wear hard hats? Workers. So it's specified there who is doing the action. So that's an active type of sentence. Let me write this down for you. And it's called active voice. The first one, passive voice. So when I say a hard hat must be worn, I know that somebody's going to wear it, but I don't know who it is. So that's a passive voice type of situation. Let me give you different examples here. Meat should be cooked before eaten. So I know that somebody will cook the meat, but I don't know who it is. And if you transform that into active voice, then you will say, chefs should cook the meat before people eat it. So here we know who's going to cook the meat. So in the sign there, must be worn. A hard hat must be worn. That is passive voice. Safety boots. So I'm going to give you part of a sentence for you to complete. Safety boots must be worn because there are a variety of things that you can say here. Safety boots must be worn because they prevent injuries. People should wear safety boots, or must wear in this case, because it's not so much a recommendation, it is mandatory that they wear safety boots. For example, if I say, I recommend that you wear a hard hat, it means you may say, okay, I'm going to wear it. You will take that recommendation as a piece of advice and you wear it. Or you will not wear it because you choose not to. So that's a recommendation. When something is mandatory, when it's your obligation to do it, then you use must. Have to or must. Safety vest. A safety vest must be worn for. Complete that sentence. A safety vest must be worn for protection. A safety vest must be worn for your own benefit. So you have different things that you can say here. Safety glasses. Here's the sentence you have to complete. Safety glasses are important. And then you complete that sentence. Safety glasses are important when you are working in a factory. Or safety glasses are important when you work in a factory. All right, now let's move on to the next poster or sign. And this will be especially relevant right now. And I'm sure all of you understand why. I'm going to show you which one I'm talking about. Here's the one. And the sign says, get your free flu vaccine. Clinic dates, November 1st, 10 a.m., November 2nd, 10 a.m., November 3rd, 10 a.m. Now my question to you is, why is that poster relevant to us right now? It is relevant because there are a lot of benefits for vaccines at this moment. And there is a huge debate whether people should be vaccinated or not because of COVID-19. There is a lot of talk about that right now at the moment. And the flu vaccine has been around for quite some time, and there is hope that the COVID-19 vaccine becomes just as common, to the extent where it won't be a big deal, that people will be vaccinated just as they're vaccinated for the flu, or as a precaution before they travel, or people enrolling in school. So there's a huge debate over that at the moment. So I want you to look at that poster where it says, if you can't see it on the screen, please refer to the copy I sent to you. It might be easier to read. It says, while supplies last. What does that mean? The entire sentence is, get your free flu vaccine while supplies last. What does that mean? that you should get it quickly, that you should get it as soon as possible, that you should get your flu vaccine now because there is a limited amount of them, and if you don't get them now, you might not have a chance to take it. There are other things on that poster that I want you to pay attention to. For example, I want you to tell me some of the advantages presented on the poster. Advantages. What are advantages? We often talk about advantages and disadvantages. Fordelar och olämpor. Advantages and disadvantages. So what are the advantages presented on the poster? The obvious advantage here is the fact that it's free. That is a big advantage, and it's right in your face, so much so that it's on the top corner there. As soon as you look at that poster, the focus is straight up free flu vaccine. And the words flu vaccine are in red or orange. It looks orange to me, but some people will argue it's actually orange, but it's a bright color that will attract a lot of attention, so you know it's free. You know what it is and you know it's free. That's one advantage, but there are other advantages there too. You have 3 separate dates when you can take it. So let us just say that you couldn't make it November 1st. You can go on November 2nd. If you can't make it November 2nd, then you can go on November 3rd. Another advantage there is that it's available at your local drugstore. It reminds me some language aspects for you to observe here. The word drugstore is mostly used in American English. The words pharmacy, chemist are used in British English. They're also used, and I guarantee you, in New Zealand and Australia, the word chemist is a lot more common than even pharmacy. If you say, I'm going to the chemist, it means you're going to the drugstore. Whenever you're writing a text, it's very important that you pick one standard, one register to use. If you write everything in American English, then you should also use the word drugstore. And what else should you pay attention to? Just a quick recap. For example, the word neighbor in American English is written like that. In British English, the word neighbor is written like that. And following the same logic, you have the word favor in American English written like that than favor in British English. So what happens, and you can see this is on Word, on Microsoft Word, and I selected American English. So because I selected American English, it's going to show a spelling mistake if I write it in British English. But it's not incorrect to write it like that. If you choose to write in British English, then you can switch the language of the document and it will correct it in that manner. So it's not only a matter of using the vocabulary words that are more appropriate for British English versus American English, depending on which one that you choose, but also the spelling of the words. And that's for academic writing. You should be especially cautious with that for academic writing. Not if you're writing a text message to your friends, it doesn't really matter. So here you have a few things that are advantages of these. They're presented on this poster for the flu vaccine. It's free. You have 3 separate dates to take it, and it's available at your local drugstore. There is another aspect of the poster here that encourages people to take the vaccine. It says, stay healthy. Stay healthy. Now for the language aspect of this word, I want you to tell me the difference between health and healthy. If you can't quite tell me the difference and explain it to me grammatically, what the differences are, you can just go ahead and use them in sentences to show me that you understand. You can start from that sentence, stay healthy. So here if I say, for instance, Bob is a healthy man. Bob has great health. You can also say Bob enjoys great health. You might think the word enjoys is a bit odd here. But what it means is the same thing that it means. It's the same thing that to say has great health or enjoys great health. It doesn't mean he enjoys as in to like or to be appreciative of something, but to have great health. So health is something you have or that you enjoy, and healthy, it's something you are. So something you have, that's a noun. And something you are, healthy, that's an adjective. In the Norwegian, noun, substantive, adjective, adjective. So if you know this stuff well in Norwegian, you will know it well in English, and vice versa. You can use all your expertise in one language and transfer some of those expertise to another language. We have about 4 or 5 minutes left until you take a break and then you meet me at the Skype conference. So we're going to look at the last bits on this poster. Employees must wash hands before returning to work. I want you to point out to me which kind of occupations would actually benefit from a poster like that. What kind of occupations? You remember the word occupation? Occupation, job, profession, career. Nurses and doctors definitely can benefit from that. People who work with food preparation, waitresses and waiters, and of course, I think I've pointed this out before, the word server is preferred when talking about waitresses and waiters because it's gender neutral. And that's a big thing right now. So servers, cooks, chefs, people who work directly with food benefit from that. But nowadays, basically, everybody can benefit from this. With what's going on in the world, it's very important. We're going to do one round of Quizlet Live, and then we'll go straight into the video conference after the break. I believe I set the break for between 11:03 and 11:10, something like that. You'll get the link to the video conference and everybody will be able to join. So we're just going to do one round of Quizlet Live. We're going to do a study set related to safety, since it's part of the theme for the day. So, according to the agenda that's been proposed by the Prime Minister, this will be the last week that we'll be doing this, but it could happen that they expand. If they expand these 2 weeks and it becomes what it was last year, we'll do the best, our very best to make it work. But let's hope that this is the last week. As soon as you get the code, you can sign in. Make sure that your phones are charged. I'm going to start as soon as I have minimum 12 people. If it takes too long, I would rather have everybody in. But if people are not in, I'm still going to have to start so we can use our time wisely. You should be getting the code any minute now. just follow the link. The link is in a group chat right now. Follow the link into the Skype conference.